A Minneapolis theater where Dave Chappelle was set to appear suddenly canceled the veteran comedian's sold-out Wednesday night show only hours before it was scheduled to go on. The First Avenue Theater faced backlash from some in the community over hosting Chappelle after, of course, his controversial set in Netflix's The Closer. They tweeted, quote, "The First Avenue team and you have worked hard to make our venue the safest spaces in the country, and we will continue with that mission. We believe in diverse voices and the freedom of artistic expression. But in honoring that, we lost sight of the impact this would have. We know there are some who will not agree with this decision. You are welcome to send your feedback." And they're getting lots of feedback. If they're saying we're responsive to comments and people criticized us for not hosting Chappelle, they're going to get even more criticism for now canceling him. So at the very last minute, so this was mere hours before the show was supposed to go on. And it's not like this succeeds in deplatforming Chappelle or whatever, because now he's just, so their tickets are being transferred. They're not ripping off the people who bought these tickets. I mean, they're inconveniencing them, I guess, but they're being transferred to another venue and the show is going to go on elsewhere. So, I mean, you know, this is actually a pretty clear sort of idea of canceling sort of thing. They're even using
literally
the language
canceling it.
It's literally canceling it. They're using the language of, oh, it's not safe. It's not a safe space if Chappelle makes jokes about people. I mean, I think it's idiotic, but what do you say?
Well, I think it comes across as pretty opportunistic or insincere or cynical, because obviously these concerns were there before.
Right.
To the extent that you think that he's creating an unsafe environment, like what changed? You didn't realize that before?
Right.
He's a
well-known controversial figure. It's well known exactly what he's controversial for. So, what are these people thinking? Either you don't want to have him, don't have him. Fine. Like, there's somewhere else that will host him. But if you're going to host him, obviously you know that some people are going to be critical of that. Like, you're really bad at your job. Your job is like a venue that books people. If you don't understand that there's this controversy is not a insular controversy. It's very well known to general audiences at this point. There's been tons of reporting on it. So to not realize that, I think it's a great idea to go forward and platform controversial people and just kind of say, you know what, you can criticize if you want, but we're going to host a range of people or whatever, which is generally these policies. But then to back down because, I don't know, a couple people got mad at you online. I think it looked like some people said they were going to protest. Who knows if that would have actually happened, but it's very dumb, very dumb.
I mean, I think it's inconvenient, but it probably also helps Chappelle in some ways, right? Because his fans, I think, are going to just be that much more protective or double down that much more. And I'm sure he will double down that much more. But it's not about, honestly, what is going out into the world. It's just about what's happening at this theater. Yeah.
Because it's not going to, right, it doesn't stop him from talking or expressing these, which again are jokes. He has told offensive jokes. That's been part of his career for forever. It was something that used to be celebrated when they were seen as transgressive, or I guess mostly targeting conservative sensibilities, or predominantly targeting conservative sensibilities. Now he has this different range of jokes he's expressing, so now all of a sudden it's very dangerous and lots of conflating words with violence, I would say, going on. So now he's a radioactive borderline being viewed as right wing, even though he's not right wing at all, and it continues to criticize conservatives on any number of occasions. But he's joking about people you're not supposed to joke about right now, and it's unbelievable. The amount of, I guess it's perfectly believable, but still kind of astonishing, the amount of negative coverage it's bringing him from, mainstream outlets that would have previously and had previously celebrated a really provocative, offensive comedian.
Yeah, I mean, they have the right to do whatever they want, obviously, but I do think it just almost feeds into Chappelle's appeal for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it feeds into Chappelle's appeal and also feeds into the idea of a certain kind of liberal as very, oversensitive or upset, or the conflation of words with violence, or, can't take a joke, etc. Because there's not, you can't, he's still going to be telling these jokes. He's just going to tell them elsewhere. And just the kind of cowardice on the part of this specific venue. A venue, by the way, which I'm seeing on Twitter. I don't know anything about this venue. It's called First Avenue, but people are saying that. So they once hosted an all-night after-party jam with Prince wearing a codpiece and singing about how he wants to do unspeakably non-consensual things to your body. Was once known for how many times the Replacements puked on stage during a single show. Now it's got to be a safe space. It's got to be very safe. We wouldn't want anyone to feel unsafe.
Well, Prince. Good thing Prince isn't around to see this. Not that I'm happy he's not here, obviously.
Right. So it'll go on at a different venue, and it's just, I don't know, it's just more of this very easily mocked kind of cancel culture thing. But I assume we'll. Yeah. I see. Go ahead.
I guess I also do see. I think that there's also, there's so much transphobia, and on a kind of attempted legislative level or successful legislative level. I do understand where people are coming from. I just don't think this is the way to solve that.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure I'm against probably most of that legislation. I just think you should be able to, telling jokes is not an act of violence, and the jokes are going to be told. And if you specifically can't tell jokes about like one group of people, it's almost like you're treating them in some kind of precious way that is almost insulting.
Infantilizing.
Infantilizing, yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll continue following this. And also, there's been so many. This broke last night. There's 20 articles about it already. So it's just like calling more attention to what Dave Chappelle's doing. Absolutely, like backfiring kind of Streisand effect territory, where you're like, okay, well, if we cancel him, then he's not. No, he's just getting even more attention for doing it.
Right. So. Exactly. Yeah. I just hope he doesn't spend all of his set talking about this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because it's not as funny. It gets a little unfunny. It gets a little, ironically, it gets a little triggered, snowflakey.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll have more Rising.
Helpful feedback for Dave.
joke feedback for joke security over here.
Yeah.
All right, more Rising right after this.